시대를 이좋게 시대를 이걸 랭크시 않아 이렇게나 입에 이런 얘기는
महिलाओं के लिए क्या संदेश है? What the message you want to give for the women?
It doesn't matter what happens because all women do all things.
After some time,
But not to be discouraged, to keep on working. But also finding what they love, what they have an inclination to do. Not everybody has this, not everybody has
what is the message for the nation?
We are one nation and we are a very part of a very great nation.
We must proud of it.
We are very proud of this because we are. In fact, we are. We have a country that we.
नमस्कार, वड़कम, प्रणाम, सत श्री अकाल। जैसा कि आप सभी को मालूम है कि हम पद्मश्री की श्रृंखला को लगातार आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं। अलग अलग क्षेत्र, अलग अलग प्रांतों के लोगों को आप तक पहुंचा रहे हैं, उनकी उपलब्धियों को, उनकी योग्यताओं को और उनकी सफल कहानी को आपसे जोड़ रहे हैं। आज की इस कड़ी में हमसे मिल रही है मेघालय। बहुत ही खूबसूरत राज्य है, एक बहुत ही सुंदर सा प्रांत है। वहाँ से आ रही हैं सुश्री बड़ापलीन और ये किसी पहचान की, किसी नाम की मोहताज नहीं, समूचा जो मेघालय है इनको जानता है। शिलांग यूनिवर्सिटी में फिलवक्त पढ़ा रही हैं और भाषा की विशेषज्ञ हैं, लिंग्विस्टिक की विशेषज्ञ हैं। इन्होंने एमए किया है दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय से और आगे की पढ़ाई हायर एजुकेशन के लिए इन्होंने लंदन की तरफ रुख किया, वहाँ के विश्वविद्यालय से पढ़ाई की है। हजारों लाखों शोध पत्र इनकी जो है छप चुके हैं, लेख आ चुके हैं। साहित्य को लेकर, भाषा को लेकर इनका भूतपूर्व योगदान रहा है। अभी हाल में ही भारत सरकार ने, आज ही बल्कि मैं कहूँ, इनको पद्मश्री सम्मान से सम्मानित किया गया है। भाषा में और कला के क्षेत्र में, शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में अभूतपूर्व योगदान के लिए, खासतौर से शिक्षा के अभूतपूर्व योगदान के लिए इनको पद्मश्री सम्मान से अलंकृत किया गया है। और इस बार की श्रृंखला में हम खासतौर से महिलाओं को जोड़ रहे हैं, ऐसी महिला पद्मश्री को जिन्होंने अपने अपने क्षेत्र में विशेष योगदान दिया है। उनके जरिए हम इस कार्यक्रम में उनकी बात हम आप तक पहुंचाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। तो आज प्रोफेसर, भाषाविद और न केवल भाषाविद, प्रोफेसर बल्कि एक अच्छी लेखिका भी है सुश्री बड़ापलीन। स्वागत करते हैं और मिजोरम की इस धरती से आपकी धरती तक इनको पहुंचाते हैं और जोड़ने की कोशिश करते हैं। नमस्कार, स्वागत है। खासी जनजाति से आती हैं, खासी ट्राइब से आती हैं और उस ट्राइब्स में इन्होंने उस भाषा में, उस स्थानीय भाषा में इन्होंने काफ़ी कुछ लिखा है। वहाँ के साहित्य को, वहाँ के संगीत को, वहाँ के खासतौर से शिक्षा से जुड़े लिटरेचर पे इन्होंने खूब काम किया है। लिंग्विस्टिक रही हैं और भाषा को लेकर इनका शोध लगातार चलता रहा है। तो कैन वी स्टार्ट पैम, सिंस यू फ्रॉम मेघालय, दैट्स अ वेरी ब्यूटीफुल प्लेस इन इंडिया, and I said it is God place. People used to say it is a place of God or lap of God. So how you come into this linguistics, since you were from I don't know what was your background, but how you come into like in linguistic field? Can you tell something about that?
Yes, actually, I started my studies with English literature. I did my BA honors in English and my MBA also in English. So I started my studies actually in English literature. But, one of my cousins, actually she was my teacher, and she did her MA in linguistics and she came back and taught us. So we were so inspired. We were very inspired by our teacher, late Professor Juanita Award, because she's passed away. And she has inspired us to look more and delve more into language. Because for the first time I understood that there's difference between the study of language and the study of literature.
That's
and
great.
even though literature is absolutely riveting, very captivating, and there's so much that we can read and understand, but basically the underlying structure of language, that is where lies the interest for understanding the culture also, the global truth. So that's how I got into an interest in linguistics.
I've heard that you have got so many awards from the government, state government also for literature. You did translation also. You're into translation work also. How you feel? I mean, the translation is related to a common man life. I mean, can you define it?
Yes, yes.
How it's effective?
Yeah, I think that translation is very, very important. Why do I say that? Is that because even our literature also started with translation. In the beginning, of course, the translation of the Bible, Christian missionaries who came there. But then so much translation also has been done from Sanskrit, from Hindi, and also from Bengali at the very beginning. But later on, of course, the concentration was mostly only on Khasi language. And I think there is a deficiency there. Even though a lot of work, a lot of literary texts have been translated, through English, but from other languages of the world, even Chinua Achebe, African literature.
That's African literature.
Yeah, it's African literature. But I still feel that there's so much that needs to be done in the translation of Indian languages into our language, into Khasi language. And also the translation of Khasi literature into Indian languages. That's where we lack. We need to put more efforts into having more interaction, more understanding of the Khasi, of the Indian literary traditions. Not only the Western or the world literature.
True.
So that is where I think it is.
The translation is
creating
actually, a bridge.
Yeah, it's a bridge, and also it's very important for the integrity of the country as a whole. We understand, because the more we understand about the culture of other people, the more we feel that we are one. So unless translation is taken as a very important work, for bridging cultures and people and communities and worldviews, so it becomes very, very difficult for us to understand it.
True, absolutely. So we are talking to a lady who is laureate not only in literature but in translation also, and she is spreading her knowledge worldwide. So the next question is that, if we talk about Khasi tribes, they don't have much exposure to the outer world, right? They're very limited. In their own state or in own area. So, what you are specifically doing for making them their literature exposed to the outer world? I mean, specifically, we talk about Khasi tribes literature. So, are you doing something on that?
Yeah, we are working hard in this, because let me just tell you a little bit about Khasi culture also.
Yeah, that's
it's really perhaps
please enlighten us.
It's not very well known, perhaps, but it's one of the communities which still practice matrilineal system.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So matrilineal system is where the lineage is traced through the mother, not the father. So all the children will take after the mother's clan or surname.
Okay.
So it's not through the father.
So like the same happened with you also? Like you also took your name from your mother? Okay.
Yes. It is still in practice. Everybody still does that. We take our mother's clan name, and we have a very strong clan system actually. Very strong clan system. So, and this is very, very important, this is very unique, and the matrilineal system is just not the mother, it's just not the woman, but actually it's, the domains of course are there. There are certain domains where women cannot actually participate, even now, the traditional institutions.
Yeah.
This is the male-dominated domains, especially with traditional political institutions. But there are certain areas where women actually were given, or are given, some, authority and some power.
So that's matriarchy society, right?
It's not matriarchal, but it's matrilineal. There's a really big difference. Because matriarchal means that there's a woman who controls. It doesn't work like that at all. We have the maternal uncle who is quite, the figure that actually holds the clan together. Of course, things are changing now. It's not as it was in the past, but the system is still there in place. And this is very, very important, because for me, I think it is important, because if we want to understand the worldview of the people, you have to understand the culture.
True, absolutely.
And in order to understand the culture, you have to also understand the language. Because language is the repository of all knowledge, of all worldview and wisdom. So that is one thing. And this matrilineal system is tied into so many other areas of life. Whether it's the traditional system of the religious rituals. I mean, we still have our indigenous religion, which is practiced very strongly.
True. Still, it is prevalent.
Yes, it is there. It is there.
Okay.
And there are certain areas which actually only those who still practice and adhere to the indigenous religion can take part in the rituals, the religious rituals. It is still there. And we have that every year. and this is still very, very.
Ma'am, you have written so many books, as I've heard in your brief biography. You have done a lot of research also. So many research papers published. So, any book which you quote, which you would like to quote for, which is based on tribes, like this Khasi tribes, or it is all the books are based on linguistics?
No, not all my books are based on linguistics. I have books also written on literature and translation. I have
Translation also.
Translation.
Can you quote few books for
well,
our listeners? There are so many.
That is one of my books, but I have also written many research papers.
Okay.
But in my book, which I've written on translation of literature in translation, especially the way that we have seen translation, how it has taken shape in the Khasi literature, and I have looked at the history of English, of Khasi literature. But when we talk about Khasi literature also, before I forget, let me just tell you very clearly that the oral tradition also is very, very strong among the Khasis. So oral tradition is very much a part of Khasi literature. We have our own indigenous poetry, which is still being practiced. It's a performing poetry actually.
Right.
We call it performance poetry.
That's great.
And it's still there. And now we are making it a part of our studies. Yeah, because we want.
That's a very good initiative.
Yeah, because we want to promote also the folk or oral traditions or traditional literature, be it poetry, traditional poetry, be it narratives, be it fiction, be it anything, even the religious rituals, which are a part almost like a drama.
Fine. So we are talking to a lady, a marvelous lady, a jewel we can say, a lady who contributes a lot for the literature, for the language, or for the linguistic. So here we are meeting a lady, a gorgeous lady. I can say gorgeous, most fantastic lady from Meghalaya. And I'm really very, very, I have a lot of regards, and I can say I can respect her because her guru is also my guru, because I have done a PhD on her. So I just before few moments I have come to know that her guru was like my guru. So that's, we have another connection to that.
Yes.
So for अब बातचीत को हम थोड़ा आगे बढ़ाते हैं, जो कि आप खासी जनजाति से आती हैं. So I would like to request you कि क्या आप खासी में कुछ गुनगुना सकती हैं? Anything which you can, any rhymes or any singing which you can recite in your tribal language. I mean, in your tribes, anything which you prefer.
All right.
For our listeners.
I don't have a very good voice, but I will try to practice.
Sure.
I'll just try to render, the power. What that is traditional poetry. That is a performance poetry. Okay. Oh, ijortishi peret, ibel lengtishi ana.
Wow.
And then there will be a group of people who will chant, oh, cute, like that.
Oh, that's great. So nice.
That's a
and what's exactly meaning?
The meaning is that, when you're too small, you should have tried to get married too soon. It's, teaching about child marriages or underage marriages and the difficulties that you face. But it's done in a humorous manner with a song.
Yeah, in a very light mood.
Yeah, in a very light mood. But at the same time, this has been there for a very, very long time. I don't even remember when I first heard it, when I was very small. But you can still hear it being chanted all over. So these are the kinds of things that are there in our society. This is what is known as the oral poetry. It is chanting, it is performing. Yeah.
That's great. We are learning a lot many things through her, and the things which is hidden or kind of, we can say, unveiled. She's unveiling so many things. Since you belongs to that place, and you have every society has certain things which is certain restrictions, like might be in your society also. As being a woman, what kind of a problem or a intricacies or kind of hurdles you face as a woman when you were coming to Delhi, or maybe for the higher education to the overseas? So the first question is, what were the challenges for you? Second, what are the changes coming? I mean, what are the changes coming nowadays in your society? Are the people more liberal for their daughters and sending them outside? And I mean, changes you can discuss.
Well, again, we have to look back at history. In the past, of course, people were very unwilling to send daughters to schools. They had lots of prejudice that if
so personally, you encountered any problem?
No, not during my times. That was well before my times.
Okay.
But the thing is that is not so much the hurdle where education is concerned, because perhaps about 40 years, 30 years back, people had that kind of prejudice is no longer there. That bias that girls shouldn't be given education is not there anymore. But as I've said from the very beginning, this demarcation of domains for men and women, it's still there.
Yeah.
You see,
it's still prevalent.
it's still very much prevalent.
Mm.
In domestic domain, fine, women are given a lot of responsibilities and a lot of privileges,
Mm.
no doubt about that. But it's in the public domain that women were actually restricted. Even now, in the traditional village darbar, you see,
Village darbar, yeah.
the women are not really encouraged. In fact, in the past,
how the situation in the rural areas?
In the rural
in the
areas,
cities, people are well known. They are now educated, so they can give
even
in rural,
even in the urban areas, this kind of thing is still going on.
Yeah.
Very few. Of course, now it has started to change. I have seen that there are many darbar where they have allowed.
So what's that darbar means?
Village.
So darbar is what
is darbar in Hindi. What is
Hindi is darbar, but why you are quoting this? What was the practice?
No, that is a word that we have borrowed from Hindi, I think.
Okay. Darbar. Darbar is a Hindi word, but you are saying why are you quoting this?
We have this village darbar.
Okay.
We have the right darbar. We have at the Himal level, that is the highest, in the traditional political institutions. So women actually, are not a part of the policy making decisions of all these darbars. So till now, you see that the hurdle is there, and it's still being very, very difficult for women to overcome this hurdle. And you can see even politically also very few women actually contested for elections.
True, absolutely.
And
very few.
Of course, now few.
They are coming forward, but not in that number.
Not really in that kind of number. Very few women actually are successful as politicians.
Talking to you, I'm very much curious about this tribe, Khasi tribe, and I want to read that literature, but I'm unable because I don't know that Khasi language. So the language is barrier. I'm talking about how we can reach it. That's an important point. It should reach to the mass.
Absolutely.
So
I think that is where the state government also has to play its role. And the universities also, and the colleges also, they have to play their role. Because it's not good that we should be kept isolated like that, or that other people from mainstream India especially, that they should know a little bit more about our culture and our literature. But unless and until organizations and governments do a lot more to help translation of Khasi literature into the major Indian languages, and also to have the major Indian languages translated.
Right. Translation is very important, so that it will reach to the mass.
Absolutely, it's very important. But we must understand that we need certain agencies to help us, and I hope that this award will pave a way. And that we can interact, exchange ideas even with the state government, how to go about doing this, so that literature can be
हम मेघालय की एक बहुत ही सुघड़, मृदुभाषी और बुद्धिजीवी भाषा शास्त्री से बातचीत कर रहे हैं। पद्मश्री अवार्ड मिला है, अभी सम्मान प्राप्त हुआ है। भाषा और संस्कृति के लिए इन्होंने बहुत काम किया है। इनके अभूतपूर्व योगदान को देखते हुए, इनके अतुलनीय योगदान को देखते हुए भारत सरकार ने इनको पद्मश्री दिया है, और निश्चित ही ये लोगों के लिए सराहनीय है, खासतौर से खासी ट्राइब्स के लिए, खासी जनजातियों के लिए एक ये सम्मान सिर्फ उनका नहीं, ये समूची समुदाय और संप्रदाय के लिए ये सम्मान है। और शी ऑल्सो वॉन्ट्स टू डेडिकेट दैट दिस अवार्ड टू द एंटायर कम्युनिटी एंड क्लैन। बहुत गौरव की बात होती है जब देश में सरकारें या देश की संस्थाएं अलग अलग प्रांतों से, दूर दराज के इलाकों से और एक ऐसी जनजाति के लोगों से जुड़ के और मिल के उनके यहाँ से लोगों को लाती है और उन्हें सम्मानित करती है और देश दुनिया की तक उनको पहुँचाती है। ये बहुत ही गौरव की बात है, बहुत सम्मान की बात है, खासतौर से देश के दूसरे छोर में बैठे हुए लोग जो खासी जनजाति से बिल्कुल परिचित नहीं है, उनके तहजीब से, उनकी कला से, उनके खान पान से और उनकी समृद्ध परंपरा से परिचित नहीं है। आज इनके जरिए, आज इन शिक्षिका के जरिए जो सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ा रही हैं, भाषाविद हैं और इन्होंने लिटरेचर में बहुत काम किया है, उसके जरिए हम जानने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि खासी जनजाति क्या है, कैसे है और इनकी प्रैक्टिसेस क्या है। बहुत सारी बातचीत हमने इनसे की है और ये लगातार हमारे सवालों का जवाब भी दे रही हैं, बिना थके हुए दे रही हैं। इससे पहले कि हम कार्यक्रम को समाप्ति की ओर ले जाएं, लीस्ट बट नॉट लास्ट, एक सवाल और कि महिलाओं के लिए क्या संदेश है? What the message you want to give for the women, the first question, and for the nation separately?
Okay, for the women, it doesn't matter what hurdles, because all women will always face hurdles at some time or the other, but not to be discouraged, but to keep on working, but also finding what they love doing, what they have an inclination to do, Not everybody can be the same. Not everybody can be a teacher. Not everybody can be a professor. You can excel in other areas. You can be a good singer. You can be a good craftsman, craftswoman.
Mhm.
All these things, whatever work that you do, try to excel in that. That will give you the joy, the satisfaction, and the reward, and the award also for yourself. That is very, very important for women.
और राष्ट्र के लिए क्या संदेश है? चूंकि भारत सरकार ने आपको सम्मान दिया है, the government of India has given this award. What is the message for the nation?
For the message for the nation is that I hope this is just the first step, just the beginning. That the Northeast will not be looked at as being different or being a little bit away from the mainstream of India, but that we should understand that we are one country. We are one country, and we need to have that. The interdependence, we have to have that closeness, we have to have that respect and the acceptance.
True.
And it works both ways. For the northeastern regions also to accept people from outside the region, and also people from outside of the region also to accept us as we are. We are one nation.
Yeah, we are one nation. There should be the feeling of one.
Yeah, we are one nation, and we are a very part of a very great nation.
Yeah, we must proud of them.
We are very proud of this because we are a part. In fact, we are Indians.
Yeah.
We have a country, a great country like India. So we should be one. That is my message to the whole nation.
Nice.
That we should accept each other, that we should understand, and we should always lend a helping hand, support each other.
That's great. Very nice message. बहुत सुंदर संदेश इन्होंने राष्ट्र के नाम दिया कि हम सब एक हैं, और यूनिटी में ही, अगर हम एकता में अनेकता में एकता की बात करें, भारत विविधताओं का देश है, अलग अलग संस्कृतियों का देश है, अलग अलग संस्कृतियां हैं, खान पान है, तहजीब है, इन सब के बावजूद हम एक हैं. तो मैडम का संदेश यही था कि हम अलग अलग हैं, हमारे तहजीब अलग है, लेकिन हम सब एक हैं और हम भारत के हिस्सा हैं. वी आर द पार्ट ऑफ द नेशन एंड वी आर इंडिया. कार्यक्रम की समाप्ति आपके ट्राइबल जनजाति जो है, आपकी जो खासी जनजाति है, उसकी किसी एक पोइट्री या किसी एक कविता या किसी एक गाने के साथ आप कार्यक्रम को समाप्त कर सकते हैं. यू कैन एंड दिस प्रोग्राम विद अ फ्यू राइम्स और एनीथिंग व्हिच एनी लाइन यू कैन रिसाइट.
Well, it's not so much a line, but just as a beautiful word in Khasi language, just like in Hindi, where you say Namaskar, we say Khublai. Khublai is a sublime word. It means thank you, it means welcome, and it means goodbye. So that is a word that I would like to share with all of you.
The entire
Khublai. Khublai.
Thank you so much, ma'am. You have given your precious time to us. Thank you so much. कार्यक्रम समाप्त होता है और हम फिर किसी एपिसोड में, किसी और श्रृंखला में, किसी और हस्ती से, किसी और पद्मश्री से मिलते हैं, किसी और भाषा साहित्य से और किसी और बड़े प्रोफेसर से, किसी बड़े कलाकार से, बड़े साहित्यकार से आपको मिलवाते हैं. तो इजाजत दीजिए, फिर किसी कड़ी में अगले दिन अगली कड़ी में मुलाकात करते हैं नए एपिसोड के साथ. धन्यवाद.